If you feel like the truth is being kept from us, know that you're not alone. I'm Detective Ozma, and my mission is to dig up the evidence behind the mysteries they want to bury. Today, I'm opening a case that unfolded in the skies above a capital city, witnessed by civilians, tracked by military pilots, and recorded inside official documents that still fuel debate decades later. In the early hours of September 19, 1976, the people of Tehran, Iran, began calling air traffic control to report a brilliant object hovering above the city. Some described it as a bright star. Others said it moved too deliberately to be anything natural. The reports multiplied, until the Imperial Iranian Air Force decided to respond. 2 F-4 Phantom II fighter jets were sent to intercept the object. What followed would become one of the most discussed military UFO encounters ever documented: instruments failing mid-flight, weapons systems shutting down, and luminous objects maneuvering in ways pilots struggled to explain. When I opened the file, the timeline revealed an incident shaped by both extraordinary testimony and intense skepticism, a case where every detail seems to split into two competing realities. Evidence 1: the calls over Tehran. Late on September 18, dozens of civilians reported an unusual light over Tehran. Air traffic personnel initially dismissed the calls, but the number of witnesses kept rising. Eventually, controllers and military officials themselves observed a bright object in the sky. According to reports later sent to U.S. military channels, the object appeared highly luminous and visible from long distances. Some observers described shifting colors: blue, green, red, and orange, flashing rapidly. With radar systems partially unavailable at the airport that night, visual observation became the main source of information. The Air Force ordered an interception mission. At this stage, the event was still considered a possible aircraft or helicopter, until the first jet approached. Evidence 2: the first interceptor. An F-4 Phantom II was launched toward the object. The pilot reported seeing a bright target from far away, but as the aircraft closed the distance, something unexpected happened. Instrumentation failed. Communications cut out. Navigation systems stopped responding. According to the pilot's report, the failures occurred only when the jet neared the object. When he turned away, systems returned to normal. The mission was aborted, and the aircraft returned safely. Later analysis would question whether the jet already had known electrical problems, but at the time, the timing of the failure raised immediate concern inside the command structure. A second interceptor was prepared. Evidence 3: the second encounter. Major Pervez Jafari and his weapons officer launched in another F-4. Unlike the first pilot, Jafari reportedly achieved radar lock on the object at a significant distance, describing its size as comparable to a large aircraft. Visually, he described intense multicolored lights so bright that the body of the object could not be clearly seen. Then the situation escalated. Jafari reported that a smaller luminous object separated from the main one and accelerated directly toward his aircraft. Believing it to be a threat, he attempted to fire an AIM-9 Sidewinder missile. At that exact moment, his weapons panel shut down. Communications failed. Instrumentation dropped offline. He performed a defensive maneuver and turned away, and once again, systems returned to normal as distance increased. According to his later testimony, another object descended toward the ground, slowing before landing or hovering near the surface, emitting a bright light. No explosion followed. Evidence 4: the ground investigation. The following day, a helicopter crew flew to the area where the descending object was believed to have reached the ground. No physical craft or debris was found. However, investigators reportedly detected a strong electronic beep signal in the area. Nearby residents said they had seen an intense flash of light and heard a loud noise during the night. Attempts to gather more evidence ended there. No confirmed material traces were recovered, and details about the signal were never fully explained in public reports. And this is where the file connects to another case already opened here on the channel. Because Tehran wasn't the only night when trained pilots chased something they couldn't explain. Years later, In another part of the world, entire squadrons would scramble, radar confirmed, multiple targets tracked, and an official government admission that something unknown had entered their skies. If you've already seen the investigation about the official UFO night in Brazil, you know exactly what I mean. Different country. Different decade. Same unsettling pattern. And if you've made it this far into the case, you're clearly someone who wants the full picture, the pieces they don't put together for us. So stay close to the investigation. Make sure you're subscribed, because the next files connect in ways most people never realize until it's too late. Now, back to Tehran. Evidence 5, Official Documentation and Military Interest. What separates the Tehran incident from many UFO reports is the level of official attention it received. An initial report was transmitted to the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff on the same day. Later assessments by defense intelligence personnel described the case as unusual due to multiple witnesses, pilot experience, radar involvement, and reported electromagnetic effects on aircraft systems. Iranian military leaders later confirmed publicly that the aircraft experienced serious interference during the intercept attempts. For ufologists, this elevated the case to classic status, a rare event involving trained observers, military assets, and technical malfunctions occurring in real time. But not everyone agreed with that interpretation. Evidence 6, The Skeptical Analysis. As the years passed, the Tehran incident drew intense attention, not only from ufologists, but also from researchers determined to find conventional explanations. Skeptical investigators argued that the event may have been a chain reaction of ordinary factors interpreted under extraordinary circumstances. Some suggested that the pilots initially locked onto bright celestial bodies, particularly Jupiter, which was highly visible at the time, amplified by atmospheric distortion and the stress of a nighttime interception. Under certain conditions, bright planets can appear to move or change intensity, especially when viewed from a fast-moving aircraft. Others focused on the aircraft themselves. Reports indicated that at least one of the F-4 Phantoms involved had a documented history of electrical problems, raising the possibility that the system failures were mechanical rather than external. In that interpretation, the timing may have felt meaningful to the pilots, even if it was coincidental. Additional analyses pointed to active meteor showers during that period, which could account for reports of luminous objects descending toward the ground or sudden flashes crossing the sky. Skeptics also emphasize the human factor. Night flights place heavy strain on perception, depth, speed, and distance become harder to judge, and unexpected lights can easily appear more structured or purposeful than they really are. Combine that with adrenaline, radio confusion, and malfunctioning equipment, and a normal event can quickly transform into something that feels extraordinary. From this perspective, the Tehran case is not evidence of unknown technology, but a convergence of mechanical issues, astronomical phenomena, and human interpretation under pressure. And yet, even with these explanations on the table, not everyone agrees the puzzle is fully solved. Evidence 7, The Unresolved Core. And yet, even critics acknowledge certain details remain difficult to dismiss entirely. Multiple independent witnesses reported the object before military involvement. 2 separate jets encountered anomalies, though interpretations differ on whether both experienced the same failures. A pilot attempted to fire a missile and lost systems at a critical moment. And official intelligence summaries treated the event as worthy of serious attention, even if no definitive explanation followed. Without complete radar data, preserved physical evidence, or modern sensor recordings, the Tehran incident remains suspended between explanation and mystery. As I review the file, 2 realities emerge. The first says this was a perfect storm of human error, mechanical problems, and natural celestial phenomena, a story made larger through repetition and myth. The second suggests something truly unusual occurred that night, an object capable of affecting advanced military aircraft, observed by trained pilots and documented by governments that never fully explained what happened. The truth may lie somewhere in between. What is certain is that the skies above Tehran produced a case that still divides investigators nearly 50 years later, not because we lack theories, but because we lack closure. And if you want to see how this pattern appears again, on a night officially acknowledged by a military force, the investigation into the official UFO night in Brazil is waiting for you. Just click on the screen and open the next file. I'm Detective Ozma, and I'll keep gathering every fragment, every voice, every piece of evidence they try to erase. Many stories get buried, but never forever. If you, or someone you know, has ever witnessed something unexplainable, leave your story in the comments. Or, if you'd rather stay anonymous, send it to the email pinned in the comments. Who knows, maybe the next file I open will be yours.